Hello, and welcome to my review of Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 4. This episode was called No-Win Scenario. Before we go any further, I'd just like to say, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I must say, Episodes 2, 3, and 4 remind me of that Star Trek movie arc, Star Trek Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and Voyage Home. They have a great storyline. So they're still going deep down inside the gravity well of the nebula. So they all pretty much thought that they were going to meet their certain death. But with the title of this episode, No-Win Scenario, makes it sound a lot like the Kobayashi Maru.
I don't believe this was a fair test of my command abilities.
And why not?
Because there was no way to win.
A no-win situation is a possibility every commander may face. Has that never occurred to you?
That was something mentioned in Discovery and Prodigy.
You have chosen the Kobayashi Maru. Please select your desired crew.
So why wasn't this mentioned here? It would be pretty cool. Well, to tell you about the Kobayashi Maru, the Kobayashi Maru is a training test to measure how good a captain can react in a losing situation and how he reacts to loss. And that's what basically this was a no-win scenario, but nobody mentioned the Kobayashi Maru, which was weird.
The Kobayashi Maru scenario frequently wreaks havoc with students and equipment.
Well, we have lots of questions left over from the last episode, such as who was Vadic and why was he really after Jack Crusher? Why are the changelings involved? How the Titan is going to escape from the gravity well? We get some of those answers on episode 4. Here come the spoilers! As we start off the episode, the Titan is going deep down into the gravity well. The crew is kind of morbid and kind of scared because they are facing near death. Riker talks to Picard and smooths things over with him and says, you gotta go talk to your son. So he sets up this holodeck of 10 Forward. The Los Angeles 10 Forward, not the Enterprise 10 Forward. So they sit down and have a drink. Other ensigns and other lieutenants come and join them, have a final drink before their deaths. They're all bonding together. And then walks in Captain Shaw. Captain Shaw actually has a bone to pick with Picard. Captain Shaw reveals why he doesn't really like Picard.
Did your old man ever tell you about the time that he and I first met?
No, come on. You must have heard about the Battle of Wolf 359.
A battle?
Between the Cutis, a Borg, which was Picard with Borg implants, and the Federation. And one Borg ship decimated a whole fleet. Shaw was just a lowly grease monkey, that's what he calls himself, aboard one of the ships, in which was attacked by the Borg.
50 of us made it down to the life deck. There's just one life pod.
So a lieutenant came down and selected 10 people to go into the life pod. And he actually was the 10th person selected. So it gives him a little bit of survivor skills because he was friends with everybody on board. So he hated Picard for that because he had let 40 of his friends die while he survived. Anyway, 7 of 9 is trying to chase down the changeling. She gets advice from Shaw about tracking down the changeling. Shaw tells her about the vase the changelings have to go into when they rest. They can't hold their form for a long time.
Because I know I have been holding this shape for 16 hours. I have to revert back to my liquid state.
So they have to rest in a big jar. He says if you can find the jar, you can find the residue in the jar and use the computer's tracking to track that residue all over the ship, and then you can find the changeling, which is a great plan, which 7 of 9 decides to try. He finds out that the changeling killed a transporter tech and took over his body. She goes to the transporter tech's room and finds the vase. She carries that vase all the way to the main computer where to get the analysis, and is apprehended by the changeling. After a firefight, the vase explodes and there is no more vase to get residue from. What are you going to do? And the changeling goes and slithers away somewhere else, changes into a big pile of goop and goes into ventilation. Onto the nebula. Now the nebula is having these bioelectrical waves that come and hit the ship every so often. Crusher, Dr. Beverly Crusher, she actually counts down the time between waves. She concludes as sucking in matter and expelling energy. So something is happening. She says it's a lot like a baby being born and contractions. Every time an energy burst hits, the Titan gets a big surge of energy. They decide they're going to try a plan where they can actually try to harness the energy from these electrical waves to power the ship and get the batteries and stuff energy back on the ship so they can escape. But to do that, they need to have enough power to continuously connect with each wave. They have to ride the wave each time, which means they have to go fast. So they have to find a way to divert enough power to go fast enough to keep up with the wave. So this is where Shaw comes in handy again. Shaw, of course, was a grease monkey in engineering, but he's an old school guy. He knew how to do all that stuff. The engineering schematics were the same, even though the Titan had a brand new refit. We come to Vedic now. We find that Vedic is not working alone. Captain Vedic is answering to somebody, and let's just say the one she answers to, she has in the palm of her hand, so to say. She contacts them and says the Titan has fell into the nebula. The person who has hired her, I guess, says, can follow the ship. You need to get Jack Crusher. She says, oh, it's suicide to do that. That would be terrible to try to follow him. And he says, no, it'll be suicide if you don't listen to me and do as I say. So they try to get out using electric waves to get out of the nebula. They do make it out. They throw an asteroid at the strike using their tractor beams. Everything comes very clear. I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want to give too much away. Picard did say something that was particularly nice. As long as you and your crew hold steadfast to the goal,
you are never, ever without hope.
Anyway, that was my review of Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 4, No Win Scenario. What did you think of it? Did you get a chance to see it? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when another of these reviews drops. It'll be sometime next week. Until next time, this is Danny saying,
I think we should boldly get the hell out of here.
May the Force live long and prosper with you until all are one. Thanks for watching.